Hallo.
I've been waiting many years to say something.
Ich habe viele Jahre darauf gewartet, etwas sagen zu können.
3 years with, what, 3 years with Camelot?
3 Jahre sind es jetzt mit
Waiting
Camelot.
for a moment to feel right.
Einen Moment zu finden, von dem ich fand, dass es okay war.
Just a little thing inspired me. Brian said about cold fusion. So many people I know still don't believe it's real.
Es gibt eine kleine Sache, die Brian gesagt hat über kalte Fusion. Viele Leute glauben immer noch, dass es sie nicht gibt.
I'm still unsure about saying this, but once you say it, it's over.
Also ich bin mir immer noch nicht sicher, ob ich sagen soll, aber wenn ich es dann einmal raus habe, ist es in Ordnung.
Here's my American passport.
Das ist mein amerikanischer Pass.
Notice its color.
Sehen Sie die Farbe davon?
It's brown, for those of you who can't see it from the audience.
Ein brauner Pass, für alle, die es nicht erkennen können.
It's not the normal color, okay?
Es ist keine normale Farbe.
Just to show that my background is different.
Ich möchte also das nur, um euch anzudeuten, dass ich einen etwas anderen Hintergrund habe.
It's a government passport.
Es handelt sich um ein Regierungsdokument, ein Regierungsausweis.
It says official on it and it has special government identification inside, which he's showed me and I can verify.
Es sind also spezielle Regierungsidentifikationsdokumente.
Bob was a key soul for me because I spoke to Bob privately just momentarily because he's been very busy with all these other people wanting to talk with him. And we have some common connections throughout time in different places we've worked, in Belgium and such, and other places. And we both have an army background, enlisted, but just different places at different times. But you're like, it was a confirmation to me, you know. I finally met someone that, you know, could kind of reinforce my background, and before I felt alone, you know.
There. You're in good hands. You're in good hands. This experience for me has been, and I say this not with any animosity, but this experience has been for me unlike a Catholic going to confession. You know, they say that confession is good for your soul. Well, speaking bluntly on secrecy and some things that have been covered up for so long, I felt an overwhelming wave of relief to have finally gone public on a couple of things that I have found to be factual and true. And one of them is that deep underground facility outside of Las Vegas, where this Air Force colonel friend of mine went through one door in Nevada, and in 2 minutes he was in Pine Gap, Australia. Now that kind of secrecy, that technology that allows that to happen, stuns people. Do you mean that we've done that? We've got that? We can do things like that? What have they been keeping from us?
I don't flashing credentials, or it's not a credential. It's inside this passport that I stole from my job. There just happens to be a what do you call it here?
Stamp?
It's so simple.
Can you show it to the camera?
Well, it's a stamp in here that it says, the bearer is a member of the civilian component as defined by Article 1 of the agreement between Australia and the United States forces in Australia, signed at Canberra on May 9th, 1963. It's just one of the visas, you know, in this passport. This one's for Japan.
Could you show just the front of the passport to the camera? It's a brown-coloured official passport. It's not a normal passport.
Anyway, that's my picture.
Yeah, and we do want to say for the camera.
Can you tell us secret technologies that make free ourselves when the secret governments fall?
Well, there are technologies, of course, using the Casimir effect or the zero-point energy. That's a definite. I pointed it out in
Zurich.
It's a definite, and this is not even classified information. It's just, you need to know where to go to see it. I'm talking about in government. It's not even classified. And neither is gravity shielding, which is similar to anti-gravity. but it's shielding. You take a material and you put it here, something above it, and it lessens it shields the gravitational force. This technology exists, and there are places you can go. You can go to XXX, .lanl.gov. Los Alamos National Labs.gov. Go to that website, xxx.la, and then do a little search. Dig through their archives, their physics archives.
So we can have flying saucers in a short period of time.
Yeah,
using it.
You can have that. The thing is that we need to balance all this technology that is available or can become public. We need to first work on the spiritual and the sociological problems.
But where are the plans, the maps to do it, these flying sources? Do you think it's going to be released such as open source software? Could be a Linux way of creating flying sources?
It's going to be released from many different sources.
Yeah.
Just from people probably in here in the conference even today. There are people who are working on these.
Really?
As businesses that are coming forward.
Businesses?
Yeah, as their own new businesses.
Okay.
And so it's slowly coming.
Brian O'Leary, for instance, is in this field. Brian O'Leary,
yes,
a friend.
He's in this business. Well, I don't know what he's doing with the machines or anything, but as far as zero-point energy technology in its best form, I could describe it as you could have just a small little box that looks like this and direct conversion into electrical energy or whatever you want, and there's no moving parts, no mechanical spinning magnets or anything like that. It's so simple that it looks like magic.
Yeah.
And you just do that, and you can power with the correct wiring.
But what's the key of the zero-point energy? What's the key to create it?
How does it work?
Yes.
Well, there are different approaches, but one of them is basically very small layering of materials. Almost like a capacitor. Capacitor is manufactured. Small layers of material, and then we're tapping the energy from that. But it's a simple solid-state type of technology.
Simple invention of mine. This is something you won't see in the world market because the oil companies, of course, don't want this on the market. It's just a wooden frame. It's got a auto switch on it right here, an automobile switch, which...
I'm going to get closer.
Okay, turns it off and on. I put a cover over it, a jar, to protect it. Now, it's compressed. The material in this is made of, one rod is made of 73 different elements. The other side is made of 74 elements. There's one additional element, and that's why one is negative and one is positive. The one builds up electrons. The neutrinos that strike the Earth 24 hours a day and other things striking the Earth, the combination of them causes electrons to build up in one of these rods, and it depletes them in the other side. Much like a solar panel works, very much like a solar panel. But a solar panel needs light 24 hours a day if you're going to use it 24 hours. Otherwise, it only works when the sun comes out. Now, this here, as you can see, very, very light. Very light. Has practically no weight to it. But there's plenty of energy there. Now, as I run this up the rod, you can see.
Let me get a little closer there. Okay.
These are Christmas tree lights. 110 volt Christmas tree
Let me get a good close-up of those lights. Let's see those lights again.
Okay.
All they are is what?
Just regular Christmas tree lights.
Yeah, but hold out your hand so I can see it a little bit better. The light bulbs. I want to see the light bulbs.
Okay.
Without them being lit.
Oh, without them being lit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just hold them there for a second.
Yeah.
And all they are is grouped together and a little tape pulled in the ends out,
Yeah,
right?
they're just grouped together here. There's 3 of them together
Okay, so now what you're
for
doing
the
is just...
purposes of something bright so people can see.
So you're putting one wire on one rod and one on the other, is
One
that
on the
correct?
other,
Okay.
just like negative and positive.
Now turn the rod sideways so we can see them individually.
Okay.
There we go. Uh-huh.
Now, it's not a battery because you cannot light these with a battery. Now,
Okay.
and to show it's not a battery, anywhere you move it up and down the rod, the lights work. See? See, anywhere. Down here,
Uh-huh.
all the way up. The same. Anywhere you want to put them, they work. Now, there's no power buildup here. Now, to show, let's take something a little bit bigger. This is a 25 watt bulb. 110, 25 watts. Now, let's see what happens when we put that on. Now, of course, it won't be as bright because this takes a lot of amperage, you know, and the wattage. This here, the watts on this thing here is only about, right now, about 18 watts only, and this is 25 watts.
Now, do the rods get hot?
No, the rods don't get hot. The light bulb is hot.
Yeah, because it's...
Yeah,
lit up.
it gets hot. Of course, you can't see the heat there, but now I'll give you a good shot of the light here.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Now you need a very big battery to do that. If you want to do that with a battery,
Uh-huh.
you know, that's to show there's no power here as far as storage power. It stores a certain amount of electrons because it builds up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's cover them. We're going to cover them up. So now no light can get to them. So that we can show they're not like a solar panel. Now let's turn the switch on. So the power is now going from the bottom terminals through the switch here to the top here.
Right, okay.
Now we use these 2 terminals on here because sometimes at the cave site we used to use this to charge the big battery.
Uh-huh.
See? So that's why we put those terminals on there. Now let's black it out. See if we can still light it.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? You don't need light. So we're not getting it from the fluorescent lights here. We're not getting the power from